Teacher talking sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And it was a few years back where on ESPN, Paul Pierce considered himself to be the better player than Dwyane Wade. Well, people on the internet kind of were up in arms as they went at him, saying there's no chance that he had an all time better career than Dwyane Wade. Well, he doubled down on his statement. So this is NBA Central Twitter. Paul Pierce explains why he's better than Dwyane Wade. So this was on the It Is What It Is podcast featuring Killer Cameron. Fun fact, he's actually my favorite rapper of all time. Who else can get the computers putin' like him? He does it with Mace, famous from his Bad Boy record days. They childhood friends. They actually had beef throughout the rap years. They threw a couple jabs at each other, back to being on friendly terms doing this podcast. But no one wants to hear an elementary school teacher talk about old rap. But so Paul Pierce was on their podcast, and here's what he had to say.
Put Shaq on my team, put LeBron and Bosh with me. I'm not going to win one? You don't think?
I mean, Wade won 3, but anyhow.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You got your shit on.
You put me, LeBron, and
Isaiah Thomas said.
me, LeBron, and Bosh. We not gonna win one.
Yeah.
We not gonna win a couple.
Yeah.
So I'm saying
That's
though.
true. That's true.
So I'm saying though, like.
Right.
I mean, when you're comparing the two, it's not all about championships. So, while there may be some facts to this, let's keep in mind Dwyane Wade was the key player on that first Miami Heat championship. Shaq really wasn't dominating in that NBA Finals, and Wade kind of carried them on his back, overcoming that 2-0 deficit to Dallas.
Like, who's the better 3-point shooter?
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
Okay, he's the better three-point shooter. I don't think anyone can debate that. But at the same time, Kyle Korver is a better three-point shooter than Paul Pierce. But no one's going to say Kyle Korver is better all time than Paul Pierce.
Is he a better scorer? Is he a better scorer?
Yes, but let's hear what Pierce has to say.
Okay, he averaged more points than me career. I can shoot the 3.
He's
I
a
can
better
mid-range,
slasher.
I can post up. I can get to the line. Who a better scorer?
See, you know what it is?
No, I mean, sorry. Dwyane Wade was definitely the better scorer, has a scoring title to his name. And it's not just because he averaged more points per game. He just was the better scorer. And, you know, he had those teammates and was still putting up more points per game. Meanwhile, Pierce, at least in the beginning, didn't have much other than Antoine Walker.
It is, and I'm totally.
Yeah, it's just he was fancier. It was just
That's
he was
all I'm
fancier.
saying.
What I'm going to say
Let's
is
break it down.
no. Well, I'm about to give you a
One more
props.
thing
But
I
I
wanted
said,
to
listen
because
to
what
Mace
happened
to
is
say.
this.
This is a good topic.
Exactly.
Let me see if I can find it.
And think he's not athletic, and if he's not do that. So Dwyane would do that. You have a great skill set, and I'll give you that. And what you made was great points. If you had Shaq for a year, you may win a championship. If you got Boston LeBron, definitely gonna win a championship.
Like, come on.
Right. So
Come on now.
whatever. Mason, you was gonna say something, Murder?
Yeah,
and
I
I
was-
don't want this to be a knock verse Wade.
No,
Wade is
No,
one of
it's
the
not.
It kind of is since it was brought up again. But I mean, I guess he was asked the question. But anyhow,
It's not a knock
But I was
versus
just saying, like, I think
We in the
that
barbershop.
for
Yeah,
a long
we
time,
gotta
for a
ask
long
the
time,
right
my
questions.
skills went unappreciated because I didn't get to play with a lot of great players.
Yeah.
And then I got to play with KG and Ray past their prime.
I mean, they were still very good players.
Okay, if 4 years earlier you put me, Ray, and KG together, you think we ain't walking away with 3 chips?
Right.
I might have missed it, but I'm pretty sure somewhere in there Mace said that Wade is the better two-way player, and he absolutely was the better defensive player when comparing the two. Udonis Haslam said this. These podcasts have MFers getting diarrhea out the mouth. Udonis Haslam on Paul Pierce saying he's better than Dwyane Wade. I think he actually put this on the Dan Le Batard show on his tweet when he tweeted this podcast episode with Paul Pierce. That's what Udonis Haslam wrote in the comments. I mean, Paul Pierce had a great career. Nobody should be debating whether he's a Hall of Famer. He is, but I will say this: his efficiency definitely dropped quite a bit in the playoffs. You see, 44.5% field goal percentage, 36.8% from three in the regular season. Those dipped down to 42.3%, 35.5% from three. So it was a lot less efficient when it came to the playoffs. You can't really say that about Wade. Wade kept it going in the postseason. Again, was never known as a three-point shooter. Didn't even attempt two per game in his career, but shot 48% from the field and just slightly worse in the postseason, 47.4, but he actually became a better three-point shooter. Now, on ESPN, I remember when Pierce was saying he was better than Wade. Jalen Rose actually stuck up for Wade because he said Wade wasn't there to defend himself. So Wade, he mentioned how Wade has, let me check out. He has 8 All NBAs to Pierce's 4, and Wade had 2 first team All NBAs. Pierce had 0. Pierce had 0 All Defensive teams. Wade had 3. Wade was a scoring champ. Pierce was never a scoring champ. And one thing he didn't mention, but I want to mention, is that Paul Pierce never finished higher than 7th in MVP voting. That was the only time he finished in the top 10. Meanwhile, Dwyane Wade, 7 times in his career, finished top 10 in MVP voting. He never won, but he did finish 3rd once, 5th, and 6th. So 3 MVP finishes better than Paul Pierce ever had in his career. I mean, if you look at any all-time list, I would say nearly universally you'll see Dwyane Wade above Paul Pierce. And I'm not saying, those should be taken as gospel. They are subjective. But the wide majority thinks Dwyane Wade is the better player. And I agree. Dwyane Wade, I think, was definitely the better player. I get what he's saying. And Bosh and James, I can understand. I don't know if Pierce would have won a title with Shaq at the player Shaq was. I mean, Shaq was still a very good player, but he had one finals game where he only scored 5 points against the Mavericks, a shell of his dominant self against the Lakers. Meanwhile, Wade absolutely carried them to that finals championship. What do you think? Are any of you riding with the truth, Paul Pierce? Let me know in the comments. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.